Steve, what is it she has said or demonstrated to you that shows that she's the most qualified candidate for the United States Senate in New York?
What are qualifications? It's interesting that people think that the only qualification for public office sometimes is having held other public offices. I think that she has a history of public service. Her family does. I think she'll come to Washington.
Her family has a history of public service. So if your family has served in office, then you get the Senate appointment?
She will have the ear and the gratitude of the President of the United States. She will have the ability to deliver for New York in a way that other people can't.
What is she, royalty?
That's what it sounds like. Kate, let me ask you, first of all, the public schools thing, Steve didn't want to talk about that, but why is it that these wealthy liberals won't send their own children to public schools that they say are so great and wonderful?
Rich, I agree with you 99.9% of the time, but this time I think I'm going to take a little bit different angle, and that is I think it's up to the individual whether they want to send their kids to private schools or not. But I think Caroline Kennedy, there's a reason why 57% of American women think that she's qualified to serve, and I think conservatives are making a mistake by just dismissing her out of hand. The reason 57% of Americans believe that she's qualified is because of our principles. She's chosen to raise her children. She's chosen to bring private sector money into public schools, into philanthropy, into supporting the arts. Great. I agree with Steve. I don't consider being elected to public office a qualification for being elected to another office. I believe in the citizen legislator. So I think that conservatives should be strategic and philosophical about this. Let's look at reaching out to women, and this is a great opportunity to do it. We don't have to agree with her, but we should point out her attributes.
Well, Michelle, that's interesting. What's your take on that?
I want to talk about this silly New York Times interview. That was not a hardball interview.
Okay, first
Do you
of
think
all,
that was hardball?
Kate made a very interesting and different sort of point on what the conservative take should be on this. And what do you think, Michelle?
I do agree with Kate. I don't think Caroline Kennedy has never offended me personally as a conservative. I think she's a good mom, and she seems like an intelligent woman when the New York Times isn't haranguing her. So if she wants to give it a shot, she has every chance to.
I thought for once I was going to agree with Kate Obenshain.
Oh my gosh,
and now I find myself on the other side.
You're breaking my heart.
I know I'm breaking your heart, Kate. I thought we were going to have a moment here.
I thought we were going to, too.
So I'm shattered. I'm shattered. Look, I would love to see that Caroline Kennedy steps up to the plate, answers questions, and shows that she deserves this appointment. I've not yet seen that. I mean, she acts testy with the New York Times. When she's asked, when did you first decide?
Alan, you would be testy, too.
Well, I'm only with you. But
questions.
Look, when they say, tell me about the moment when you decided to do this, she said, what, do you write for like a woman's magazine?
Okay,
at the end, they say, can I ask one more question? Oh, I think we're done. I mean, she has shown no aptitude for this. There are qualified women like Carolyn Maloney, Kirsten Hillebrand, people who face the electorate.
Alan, do you know that they asked her, they made a comparison to a Jennifer Aniston movie in a question they asked her.
Well,
yes,
fine,
that is like something you would write in a woman's magazine.
The issue is, should she, just because she's a Kennedy, and when she says, well, my family this, my family that, yeah, it's a great family. They've done a lot of good public service. They've had terrific senators like Ted Kennedy, but that doesn't qualify her for the job.
Why didn't they ask her what her proposel for the ailing banking industry was, like they did with Sarah Palin?
They didn't ask it.
The New York Times ask her that.
Good question, but she's not. But Caroline Kennedy has not come forward, Kate, with any concrete policy position except she's for gay marriage. She says she's, I guess, for not school choice to some degree.
First five pages of this transcript were asking her why she wanted to be appointed as opposed to run for this office. She answered it every possible way. Next 5 pages practically were about why she felt that, what was the moment at which she decided she wanted to be appointed to this. They dragged that on for 4 or 5 pages.
So you've got an issue with the New York Times, but the issue here,
eliminated any credibility of the New York Times.
The issue here is Caroline Kennedy. The New York Times isn't up for the job.
She said, please
let me go to Steve here. Caroline Kennedy is the one. Hold on, Kate, please. Caroline Kennedy is the one who would simply get an appointment, and she is running around the state really for the sake of one person who gets to make this decision.
That's the law, Alan. It's not her choice to get appointed. The law is one person gets to make that choice.
But there are a lot more qualified people, aren't there?
Why isn't she qualified?
Hold on, hold on,
qualified
Steve.
people. She
I
did
agree
say,
with Kate.
I know.
Kate, please, Steve, go ahead.
I agree with Kate. The only qualification for public office is not having held other public office. She has had a rich and varied life, and I think she's got just as much ability as anyone else, and I do think she will come to Washington, and she will have the ability
She
to
doesn't want to
deliver for the
reveal her
state of New
finances, something
York.
she would have to do if she were running. Has she been forthcoming about answering direct questions about a variety of policy positions to your
She hasn't been
satisfaction?
asked them.
Steve?
She's going to get asked a lot more questions before this is over, and I just think annoying the New York Times is not necessarily a disqualification for public
I'm
office.
not even care about the New York Times. I care about the way she answers questions. Michelle, you think that she has adequately responded to questions about her positions?
I've been trying to say, she did say, you know, approximately 144 times.
But who's
so
counting?
she should work on her interviewing skills.
All right, so I would agree with you on that.
She's written 7 books, 2 on constitutional law, when most of members of Congress haven't even read the Constitution.
All right,
Look
great.
at the woman's background just a little bit instead of just dismissing her. That's what conservatives should be doing. Or you are
I'd love
dismissing
to
her.
see her answer some questions.
This would be agreements
She's
broken
a
down
mom.
into
She's
acrimony.
An author. She's a philanthropist.
All right, look,
There's a
next
lot of
time, maybe we'll
sexism
agree
here.
next time, Kate, but
Maybe. We've got a couple more
Happy
weeks
New
out.
Year.
thank you all very much for being with us. Happy New Year. Let's just